one and all to the K.O.E. Nation for another premium spirits review. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., joined by my indomitable broadcast partner,
the giddy blend master himself, Tony G. Like, share, subscribe.
You know it's the right thing to do, folks. So we're here to review a whiskey that has sat on my shelf for about 10 months now.
Yes.
We were waiting for a good opportunity to get into it, and it just never presented itself. So we're like, we're here. Let's do it.
We got to do this. This is TX Bourbon whiskey. We are massive fans of the TX blended whiskey. And to get into that specifically, you need to jump on over real quick to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, where Phil and I, just this last January of 2020, went down to Houston, Texas, went to a couple of WWE events, the Royal Rumble specifically, and the first night we were there, got into TX blended whiskey when we did our review of the first night. And that was a whiskey that really just jumped out at us. It was
changed the game for us.
It did. It was just a marvelous blended whiskey, and we actually have had my brother bring up several bottles from Texas because we like it that much. But also while we were there, Phil grabbed this little beauty,
TX Bourbon, and we were going to review this when we re-reviewed the Royal Rumble, but
which could still happen.
We just never had the time, so I'm looking forward to this, folks.
Yeah,
this is also kind of like me and Tony remembering, hey, folks, remember places and when you could go do things at them?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so, and yeah. I just appreciate the fact that they add like this little leather to the top of the cap.
Every cork of every bottle has a different like chunk of leather embedded in the cork. So it's kind of a nice little uniqueness to every different bottle. I love that. And the TX whiskey itself is pretty affordable at like $20 to $30 depending on where you go. What was the bourbon, do you recall?
I think it was $49.
So about double what the blended is going to cost you. And this was at Specs.
From pure passion and patience, we are extremely proud to share our distinctly Texas straight bourbon with you, using locally farmed corn and wheat and one-of-a-kind yeast. We captured and skillfully cultivated. The provenance of this bourbon whiskey is its reward. Sorry. When I was using locally farmed, for a second I almost said cum, and we locally farmed cum. Locally sourced, handmade.
I remember when you were listening to the ingredients, you're like, I bet there's some white lightning that's smoother.
No, I was kind of like, oh boy, I almost fucking stumbled pretty bad there. We're pretty deep.
Couple ounces of cum in every bottle. Texas promise.
Oh my God! So
straight from Texarkana.
Please edit that.
God, I hope I don't remember.
So we have been looking forward to.
Yep, been looking forward to coming all day.
Son of a bitch. All right.
I almost had a straight face when you uncut.
Couldn't keep it.
Almost could.
All right.
Didn't quite do it.
So, folks, now that all the clown around, horsed around's through, we've been having a good time this evening. We are really looking forward to trying this. It's been 10 months in the making.
Yeah, we're looking at almost a year that this has been sitting on your shelf.
Oh, I like it. The synthetic cork is even black. That's nice.
That is unique. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
This may be the best cork I've seen out of a bottle of TX yet. The synthetic cork being black, but the top also being black. That's just a perfect blend for a bourbon. I'm loving it already.
The aesthetic is marvelous.
Let me take a look. Like, the band on the bottom is also black, so you get a bit of a different feel aesthetically with the bottle itself, but it does strike a very close resemblance to the blended.
Wow, a tremendously grain-forward nose.
What grain specifically are you getting?
Wheat.
I wanted to say wheat, but...
Like alfalfa, maybe? Milo?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Milo.
Sorghum for
folks
who don't know.
And I don't know that, I mean, there's any Milo or sorghum in this, but, like,
God,
that's
remember
where
when
my
I used
head
to
went.
talk about Milo days, where you could get Milo pancakes? The batter was
Yep.
made out of Milo.
The smell of Milo is actually pleasant.
Yeah.
The dust, on the other hand, not so much. So the smell's fine.
I was about to say, now this is very specific memory, but the reason I got wheat is when I was smelling this, first memory that came to mind is when I was about 10 years old. My grandmother took me and all of the grandchildren that she could gather. We went down to Kansas to her family wheat farm down in Kansas. And we're walking along a tree line with wheat right next to us. And the wind is blowing at us.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting here. Is you're getting the full
The sweet wheat,
living wheat plant is
Okay.
what I'm getting. I'm not even getting the grain, just the full living plant.
Yeah. I can understand that.
So, and I'm having a hard time finding anything else. I'm maybe a little candied sweetness in the back if
no,
you look hard.
I'm not getting any spice on the nose for sure. It
Well,
smells very smooth.
let's see how it hits the palate. I'm looking forward to this. Wow.
Oh.
That's a spicy candy cane.
Wow.
That's one spicy candy cane.
Oh, man.
Oh, that lingered.
Oh, wow. When that finally opens up, that sits there.
That lingered longer
Wow.
than the Four Roses single barreled,
Yeah.
but not in an overbearing way.
Very dark. There's a fruit there.
Plum.
Yeah. I think you're right. Plum.
I just hit it when
Yeah.
you said there's a fruit. And I was like,
Yeah.
plum. Yeah. So
That's it.
there's a bit of plum there, which
Wow.
is unique.
But
Very grain forward.
nice.
Grain forward with a bit of plum. Very spicy on the palate.
But it's almost a different spice that lingers. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I get a bit of a nuttiness. But there's not like a lingering texture on my palate.
I was about to say, like, to me, it's all the spices.
You're getting a cinnamon spice, you're getting a Christmas spice, you're getting a hot spice.
See, like, almost like a curry hot
There is
spice.
a definite blend of spices here.
It's got that Texas heat.
It does, and
I'm a fan.
I like it.
Like, as much as I'm not just liking it because I like their whiskey,
Yeah.
which we really
No,
like
this
the TX
definitely
whiskey. This is
stands
completely
apart.
different.
Yep.
I would not believe these are from the same distillery.
No, I would if you did this blind side by side, no, this is clearly
Now,
completely
one of the
different.
reasons is the Texas heat interacting with the casks. It really causes the whiskey to really interact with the wood. And that's why you're getting such a unique flavor. Now, the nose is, again, just shockingly grain forward.
It is.
And that bit of plum, but
I think
that's really all I'm finding.
I think that plum on the palate is what really drives this home for me. I don't know, it's that one little bit of uniqueness that sets this aside for some of the other bourbons that we've had that are as spicy in different ways, but this kind of hits in all the different spicy tones, but that plum taste, it's so obvious. And like, if you don't like that, specific type of flavor, I can see why this would be off-putting, but I'm really liking it.
Yeah, so we grade our whiskeys on a 5-star scale on a couple of different scales. We're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit, its shelving, and the secret 5th question. So, Tony? Oh yeah, it talks about being spicy on the sweet spice.
Remarkably smooth and exudes unique flavors of dark fruit, sweet spice, and caramel.
I didn't get no caramel, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, I don't really get the caramel either.
So, as a bourbon on a 5-star scale, what would you grade this?
I am going to say 3.5.
3.5?
Yep.
I'm going to agree with you. I was thinking 3.7, but it's 3.5.
Yeah.
Just because its flavor profile is... Plum is not something you normally associate with bourbon.
No, it's a bit more niche, but
Yeah,
it appeals to me.
It's a unique craft bourbon.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yep.
If you're into the weeded bourbon, this is a good weeder.
I think 3.5 is a pretty good mark for a craft bourbon.
Yeah. Now, as a whiskey, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give it 3.75. It makes for a better whiskey than it does a bourbon. Honestly.
I was trying not to give it 4, and I think you're right. 3.75 is a good way to do that.
Yes, it's... Because it does... Am I wrong with that analysis?
No. You're right.
It's a fine bourbon, but just in the world of whiskey, it stands on its own 2 feet much better.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, hey, you guys, you could even do some finished bourbons. Oh, wait, they have! Keep your eye on this space. So, all right, as a cask-aged spirit, how would you grade this?
Do we know the age statement?
We do not. It's
about to
probably
find out.
at least... All right, well, Tony looks that up. If I had to guess, usually it's going to be about 2 to 4 years.
Bourbon.
I'm going to say 2 to 4. 6 is probably a little... 4 years!
Very nice.
Thank you. Again, as much as I hate to say, that is not based on the flavor profile. That is just based on my knowledge of the age of the distillery. Because this drinks like about a 5 to 6 year. Like, it seems like it's interacted with the wood more, but that's because of the Texas heat.
Yeah.
That causes the whiskey to move in and out of the pores of the wood a lot more so when there's a lot of heat, which is why Scotch can age for decades, and Texas bourbon, you want to pull it out before 10 years.
I think you can get a barrel-proof offering of this, but...
Cask strength.
I don't know if you can get a longer age statement.
That would have a lot of nuttiness to the nose if you had cask strength.
Yeah.
Suddenly that grain would turn into nuttiness.
Yes.
I can almost see how you could get it, but to me, it's just so grain forward. But again, when you smell a whiskey and it hits you with an immediate memory, like the one I just described earlier, you're not gonna get past it.
No,
Like,
that's
it's
where
just,
you're gonna be hung up on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was kind of one of those. I had the Ratatouille moment where, oh, this reminds me of my childhood. But so. All right, as a cask aged, what did you give it?
3.75.
Yes, okay. All right, now shelving.
I love their blended, and I put that on a middle all day, and I think this is a middle shelf whiskey.
I think it's going to sit right next to it.
Yep.
On the middle shelf.
Yeah.
The TX whiskey is almost top shelf. If you can get your hands on a bottle of TX whiskey or bourbon, definitely do it, but the TX whiskey is a much better value, much less cost.
You're talking half the price for
We're gonna have
a
to do
master blend, but this is a very nice bourbon.
We're going to have to do a side-by-side.
Oh, yeah, this is a versus video all day.
Yeah, this will be an excellent versus. Keep your eye on the space, but, all right, Tony, when this bottle goes empty for $49, if you can find it, will you try to get another one?
Brand specifically, it's hard to say because I love the blended so much and it's half the price. Plus, we've learned that they have a couple of offerings we might want to dive into before necessarily replacing this one.
Yes, like Tony, like I was actually going to say in my answer, no, because I am going to first get a bottle of TX sherry and port cask finished bottles before I go about
Yeah.
replacing this. So that's
Yeah.
first and foremost. The
Gotta
reason
do
I'm
that.
not going to replace this bottle is because this distillery has so many other marvelous things that I need to try first. So that's a
Yeah.
good reason. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good reason.
I love sherry and I love port scotch, so I'm
Oh.
feeling like TX is going to have a pretty good offer.
Yeah, the Dalmore is one of my personal favorite whiskeys on the planet.
Hell, Glen Moray does a nice job with port and sherry.
Oh, they do. They do. Also Cabernet. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. So, TX, you done it again.
Yep. Very nice.
Amazing,
Very
amazing.
nice.
And yes, this is an excellent cap. And I think we'll do the versus video for the Royal Rumble review. That's perfect.
Okay.
So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, and actually, oh, wait. Before we go there, are we entering this into the bourbon tournament? Or is it too niche?
I think it's only fitting that a Texas bourbon makes its way into the tournament.
Okay.
What better?
Okay. So we have filled up slot number 6, if I believe. So we've got Blanton's, Colonel H. Taylor, Booker's, Jim Beam Black. We've got Four Roses,
Small batch.
TX Bourbon, and a secret dark horse to be announced. So, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for our long coming review of TX Bourbon. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner,
The Satisfied Blendmaster, Tony G. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much.